Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Like a spider in the night. There you go. All right. It's just a jump to the left.
Yeah, I can see you dressed up as Frankfurter.
Yeah, no. I think I'd prefer to be riff-raff. Breaking news tonight. Apparently, Voight's being cancelled. Did you hear that?
What?
The producers and YouTube and Google got together and decided that Voight is going to be cancelled because it's just repetitive nonsense. It's just crazy people asking for money. There are no diversity in the Voight.
So,
It's simply, she said, he said, and give me money.
so Nat Geo's not going to take it on.
Nat Geo,
for
no,
a
Discovery,
third
HBO.
season.
I think they've all washed their hands of it. It's ridiculous. So Voight is being cancelled. Sadly, it means Tony's got nowhere to go. Might just have to stay down Cronulla on the beach. Voight's being cancelled because of the repetitive nonsense. All they are is dozens of channels hating on each other, asking for money. Yeah, it's a bit boring, really, when you think about it. The absurdity of it all. In about 36 hours, we're going to have 40 cubic metres of concrete. Anyone that finds a Voight body lying around, please bring it to our address.
Oh, is there someone in there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Tony.
It's
Hi, Tony.
Tony.
I haven't
It's
got
the
my phone.
budgie. It's the budgie smuggler.
I haven't got my phone on me. Hi, Tony.
It's the little battler.
I have to do the sound effects instead of the little emoji I use.
Tony Abbott's idea of climate change is when the sun goes down. Well, it's a bit colder now. Shit. Yeah, it must be climate change. Tony, the sun's gone down. Oh, is it? It's truth. Hang on, I'll call Bronwyn Bishop. Bronwyn,
You sound like
there's
McKnight.
climate change. What do you reckon? Yeah, I don't believe in it either. Yeah, how hot is it there? 119 degrees. Oh, that's not a bad temperature for winter. Hello, Susan Brown.
Hi, Susan.
Detective Brown. And the mysterious used condom.
Blowing your kiss, Susan.
That's the kiss blower over there.
Yeah, I haven't got my phone on me to give you an emoji kiss.
Yep, Tony Abbott and Bronwyn Bishop. A love made in heaven. Of course, Susan will know what we're talking about.
Huh?
Yes, Susan, the latest news is that Google, YouTube, all the major studios are cancelling Voight because of the repetitive nonsense. They've noticed that every channel is basically arguing with each other and asking for money. And they've had enough. So at the end of September, it all ends. You'll have lots of people wandering in the streets, all over America in particular, banging into walls, wondering what to do. They might even go to their local grocery shop and just start arguing with the man behind the counter. And he won't know what's going on. There'll be a side effect to all of this with Voight being closed. Hello, VMAC.
Hey, VMAC.
Mr. and Mrs. Mystic Angel.
What?
I'm going to bring out my heterosexual card now, VMAC. Is that right? Mr. and Mrs. Mystic Angels.
Yes.
Really?
Good. Get back in your box.
God love the sense of humour though, don't you?
You have to read the comments to me because I haven't got my phone on me.
Susan Brown says lol lol lol. Yes, VMAC, they're closing Voight. Repetitive nonsense. Apparently, all got together. Google, YouTube, I think HBO, Netflix, all the big movie channels have decided that it's just nonsense. It's just repetitive. It's not even worth. It's a bit like season 8 of the Lost. It's just the same shit on a different day. Someone dies, someone gets blamed for it. They're really innocent, but then again, they still get accused. You yelled at the great Stella. No one, VMAC, you're an intelligent woman. No one is impervious to criticism. Boy, that's a mouthful. Hey, we'll have to spell that out in lower capitals.
In lower capitals?
Yeah, that's the irony of saying it.
No.
She'll get it shortly. Sadly, most of the channels are becoming the same. Let's be honest. It's just who hates who today, followed by next Monday's who hates someone new today.
There's nothing wrong with calling people out. There's nothing wrong with having a discussion or telling the truth. But it always gets twisted.
Well, truth on YouTube is a relative subject. It depends what narrative the person on the channel wants you to follow. VMAC knows exactly what I'm saying. Somebody could say something today adamantly that this is what they believe wholeheartedly, and then tomorrow it's like, well, I have the right to change my mind. Do you see where I'm going with that, VMAC? It's definitely this way and no other way. 24 hours later, I have the right to change my mind. Just unbelievable. It's like watching Sodom and Gomorrah. Whatever you do, don't turn around, VMAC. You know the story. Salt. How much salt do you want in your body? You don't want your whole body turning to salt, obviously. I'm well away from the nonsense and tribulations of everyday today YouTube life because it's not even satirical anymore.
We've been too busy.
Yeah, we've been busy. But it just goes on and on and on. And there is never anyone wanting to get an outcome. No, that's not the idea. They just want to switch to something else. Well, this is my argument today about this person, and then tomorrow I won't forget about this person, but I've decided that this person I won't forget about, but I've decided to have a crack at this person. This is the nasty one today, but don't forget about that one. That one's also not real good. Yeah, I think on occasions, VMAC, he can't help but go back to his theological side. That's what he's very good at. Even though he doesn't believe a lot of what he was taught, he interprets his feelings of today. Would have been different when he was learning, of course, and then every now and then he'll bring out an actual fact and use it as an argument, which is fine. But even Stella, even I am susceptible to be criticised. And that's what life's all about. There's a difference between criticism and full-on attacking someone. And I don't think I've ever seen VMAC, other than the Tin Can Man. He definitely attacks him, but no one else. She's a very intelligent woman who actually gives her opinions based on the fact that she tries to let the other people understand what she's talking about. And unfortunately, VMAC, like me, most of the time you try to do that, it's way over their head. You've got to think dumber more, because explaining things in logic and practicality for some people is just way too hard. What'd she say? Was she having a go at me? Well, a piece of paper is something you can flash around, but it's irrelevant in the conversation. And if you are bringing out pieces of paper to tell the other person, this piece of paper makes me far more intelligent than you, makes you less intelligent. I would never do it. Look, I'm waving a piece of paper now. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. But sadly, VMAC, let's be honest, the intelligence level of a lot of people at the bottom of YouTube is questionable. The spelling of some people. And I do spell incorrectly on my iPhone, but not because I've spelt it incorrectly. My iPhone decides to spell a word that I never ever typed. I hate that. But I don't bother if I put in something and it comes out another word, people get what I'm saying. In fact, you could drop off a vowel off every word you write and most people would still get it. There's a transition between the brain and the seeing something, and you can interpret the sentence with it being misspelt. But a lot of people just waste their time on here. What do I mean by that? Well, they're repetitive. It's like killing the same donkey every day. You just bring it within an inch of its life and you revive it for tomorrow's episode. Well, I don't know if he talks down as much as he tries to get people to understand what he's saying. He may overemphasize certain things. Like he does bring out a few parables, etc., etc. But he does it to try and, well, if you're on a debating team, you'd be saying that he tries to bring it across along the lines of to win the argument. But arguments are never won. There is no argument I've ever heard anyone win. But I like Stella. He does have a lot of logic. And he's fairly factual. I wish he would keep his wallet closed more. I have told him that personally. Not saying that out of school. To give is wonderful. To give without justifying the reasons, just on emotion. It's like people buying things when they go shopping. They go, oh, I love the colour. They buy it, they take it home. And then the wife says to him, well, it's a great colour, but we've already got a lounge. What do we do with the beige one? Well, I don't know, but the colour was great. It was a bargain. Well, I really wasn't there, so I don't know what unfolded. So that's for you and him to sort out, I guess. But the one thing that I will tell you, VMAC, and I use it myself, is I have a credit system. Nothing to do with cards. And that is, I allow people to build up their credit with me. In other words, what I see, I will value them on a scale. And that's basically credibility. And it's very hard to build up credibility. It's very easy to lose credibility. Do you know what I mean? Like if you said and you wanted to do a video, and this is not about this, but if you want to do a video about the people that have fallen from Boit, from the high cliff of Mount Boit, you could name a dozen people this year alone who will scramble at any way to try and get back to some esteem, but their credibility is shot. Hello, Keeping. A little late today. Not really. We've just been real busy. We're actually about 30 hours away from pouring concrete, so we've been busy doing stuff. The thing that I would never do, and you might find this a bit cruel, VMAC, but if I heard that you'd been attacked verbally and accused of something, I'm not going to jump into any channel and start defending you, because it would boil down to the simple fact they are your battles and you are well equipped to fight them. And in fact, when people do jump in on your behalf, they confuse the issue. I'm sure you know what I mean. In other words, they may be overzealous, they may say things that aren't even true, but fighting someone else's battles is a big mistake. It's all good. Yeah, I'll have that video up probably Friday. Friday or Saturday is the end of week 4. And you will see the concrete slab. And then people will start saying, oh, now I get what they're doing. Yes, because when someone steps in to fight a battle between two people. It's now a battle between three people, VMAC. And then when someone else steps in, someone else, then there's 300 people fighting each other, and they've even lost sight of what the battle was all about in the beginning. And that would explain Boit in its entirety. If someone could go back and work out the initial reason why there are all these fights going on, it would mean they are very clever, because no one knows. It's begun, and now it's just added upon. You said this about my very good friend, and I'm gonna cast a spell on you, and that's the end of you, and my 5 friends are joining in, and they're saying the same thing to you. No, they're not. It's just all nonsense. A battle is between two parties. It doesn't involve anyone else. And it just gets absurd when it drags itself on and on and on. Here's the white bus.
What? Oh, it's cold out here.
Not real cold, but cool.
I haven't got my 3 pairs of socks on. I'm dressing down in a jumper and...
I miss something there. If it doesn't come from the horse's mouth, don't listen to the gossip. Yes, well said, Mr. Angels. Yep, I just turned my back on them, VMAC. Hello, Danny G. She says hello to you.
Hello.
I think I know who you're talking about, Danny. That's like, in Australia, we call those people show ponies. They may have a piece of paper. But let's be honest, anyone online that displays out of character, swearing, abuse, they're not really a care professional. You know what I mean? Because you are instructed that you live your life completely based on the fact that if you're going to help people, you don't abuse people.
Offended in regards to one who carries a prestige professional title due to the wage. I'm not sure who that is.
I think they're talking about some woman called Mama Beth or something. I'm guessing. I'm speculating, which I don't like doing, but I presume that's who you're talking about. A health professional would not be on YouTube giving advice. They may come on YouTube, give advice without waving that piece of paper. That's a different thing. But when you're trying to exude who you are and where you're from and what qualifications you've got, and then abuse people, no, you're not a health professional. You're a dickhead.
I don't know. There's lately been professionals come on YouTube. There's a vet I watch who's an actual vet, but he just does simple things like brings the cat on and says, now to look after your cat properly and you know, do this, do that, always check, and then he'll bring a dog out and blah blah.
That's all good.
He'll do things like that, and he'll ask simple questions, but he always says, of course, if you're unsure, go straight to your local vet.
Well, the VMAX made a good point. If the drama community went back home, I don't see all these communities, VMAC. I know what you're saying. I hear the reasons behind them being a wood-turning community, a drama community, a wrestling community, and all that. But no, YouTube's just YouTube. But it seems that, and this is a harsh thing to say, but when someone does a big fresh poo and they put it on YouTube, all these flies come round, all these, dramatic flies. And it's unbelievable. It's like all it is a big pile of fresh poo, but all these dramatic flies gather. And then someone else will do another poo on a different channel, and they go, it's absurd. Half of the audience is half to blame.
I would never know who's in the drama community. I really don't sort of know.
Well, I have no dramas these days because I don't go to anyone's channel that has a $sign on it, in any form. Hello, Leroy.
Hey, Leroy.
Is that the Bondi vet dude Leroy's talking about?
That's one Leroy. There's also another one. He's based in England. He doesn't go into major things. And then there's
So we watched one tonight, a brief show on some vet in the UK, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And this dog had lost his two outer little claws and a bit of meat off the bone. So they were thinking about putting prosthesis on there. He actually does this. But he just covered it in manuka honey.
Yeah. Because
And
it's
of course the dog kept licking it, but it was for weeks and weeks and weeks. And his pad grew back under his foot.
Half of it grew back, yeah.
And the meat on the bones around the damaged were... So all he ever used was honey. Quite extraordinary.
Manuka honey or whatever it's called. That's good honey, that.
People do that, Danny, what you're saying there about misrepresentation and attacking others is to justify their narrative. It might all be bullshit, but they'll scream and shout at enough people to tell them that they're right and you're wrong. And that's where Boyd falls in an enormous hole. I don't go to even Tucker's
I just read
channel anymore because it's like, and I like Tucker, but there's an old saying about to set a thief to catch a thief. Remember that old saying? Well, Tucker talks about all these enemies, but what he's doing, he's becoming them. He's replicating them, arguing about this and that and attacking, raising money. And it's, if you have to ask the question, what's the difference between the people that he's attacking and him? And you have to come up with the analogy that maybe it's the same thing.
Well, but he says he does it. He says it outright. Other people
But
don't.
my point is the difference. There is very little difference now. He is becoming his enemy. And that's not a harsh thing to say. That's an observation. None of you have to agree with me. But he's becoming the people he hates. And he's better than that.
There'll be a shift again in a month.
See you keeping.
Things.
Oh, it's just going to get worse now.
Things
We
will
have
change
enough
again.
crazies on the bottom of YouTube, but now it's getting cold, so you want to be inside more. There won't be enough hours in the day for the drama shit that's going to be laid out. You know how peanut butter can come in a really big jar? Well, the Boyd crap comes in an even bigger jar, and they lay it on really thick.
Well,
And it's sad because I would like to use this platform just to catch up with people, to talk to people.
well, we do. We can. Must be pretty bad for Danny for you to speak out like that because you're a very peaceful person.
No, I think Danny is a great reflection on all the moderate people on the bottom of YouTube who have had enough.
Yeah, true there, Mac.
Oh, look, people on YouTube are, this is not rude, but you're so unimportant in the majority of our lives. We catch up with you, we'll make good friends over a number of years, for sure, but it will be limited.
Type shorter comments.
Well, Leroy, like you, are thinkers like me. And like VMAC and Leroy, we don't say everything that we're thinking. We're actually quite politically correct to a certain extent. But I even know Leroy well enough that he has a limit, and VMAC has a limit. Boy, you guys are going to be tested over the next few months.
VMAC doesn't hold back.
Well, she holds back more than you think, actually.
Neither does Leroy.
It's like I am never here to tell people how to rule on their channels or how to live their life, but because I watch them, I'm entitled to make commentary. I'm entitled to an opinion, a perspective.
Yeah, and then that's right. People say don't watch, but the thing is, people have a right
Yeah, you're
to
right
say.
there, Mac.
People have a right to say something if you're going to put it out in public. Expect backlash. Expect people to have their say. if you put it in public like this.
Well, all of us are imperfect. That's
Excuse
a fact.
me?
Well, except you, of course. Except you obstinance. But yeah, so we've all done things in our lives we hadn't wished we had done. But most of us have this curve called a learning curve where we don't repeat the same mistakes. It's the repetition of rinse and recycle on the bottom of YouTube, which is boring. It's the same crap on a different day. Well, we like Hooker for one reason. She has a good heart. Yeah, she stumbles through a lot of things. She'll be the first to admit that. But even she is open, like I am, to criticism. You don't get to do what I'm doing right now without being questioned on certain things. And I'm happy to agree to disagree. It means you can be right or I could be right, but we must maintain our opinions.
Well, of course, it makes us individuals and we all have a different thought pattern. But go for it, VMAC. If someone's causing shit and we don't see it and you're on here, go for it.
It's like there are a few channels, and I don't need to mention them, that will react in a condescending way if you bring up a touchy subject that has validation in what your question was. You're asking a pertinent question, you're asking for the truth perhaps, and you are suddenly an enemy. Something like this. You go down the lines of, VMAC, well, you're only 2 stones away from white trash. Your opinion's not worth as much as a dead beetle, if you know what I mean. That sort of conversation is very common. It's nearly humorous, but it's not. It's a vile attack on someone to justify their narrative.
No, that's...
They don't. It's like they don't want to know the truth, and they certainly don't want you knowing the truth. God forbid.
Yeah, that's right, VMAC. Her heart sometimes is a little bit too good, and that's awesome. She likes to try and keep the peace.
I mean, I look at things logically. Everyone. She's got boys and at a uneasy age, the pubescence. There are certain issues with her children. Life's not easy. We've been there. We're down the road. We look back now and it's just a haze. We got through that. Amazing. Yeah, you're right. It's like when people become so obsessed to drive a narrative, they change the story all the time. They'll change the narrative. One example would be that I would take you back to the Alamo at any given time to defend you. But in the same breath, I'll say in the next sentence, we must only concentrate on the future.
All right, and don't talk so loud.
You see what I mean? The narrative will be changed by the narrator at their convenience.
There's a lot of good people here. Danny, you're one of them as well. And Susan.
Danny G is one hot-ass old lady. If I ever buy a plane, I'm painting her picture on the side.
It's just knowing if someone comes in to have a bit of fun, or if they say nasty things, well, jump on them, VMAC, if I don't say it. But it's just learning when people are trying to have fun or saying a joke. And some jokes people don't get.
No. There's an incredible amount of very intelligent, caring people on the bottom of YouTube. It seems on occasion some of those people, when they watch the rioters go through a channel throwing stones at the window, will start picking up stones with the mob mentality. And I say that quite honestly. I've seen that where I'm thinking, whoa, where did that come from?
I mean, we don't, it's like, we're talking about it now. And we don't usually on here when you're on a live stream, because we don't like to talk about all the shit all the time.
I think it's an overflow feeling from a lot of people
but
that have had enough, I think.
Sometimes you've got to have your say.
No, I wouldn't tell you off.
Yeah, exactly, but
I'll just bring out my degrees. You want that master or you want this master?
Stop it. I have degrees.
Anyone that does that is silly for themselves, for starters.
What have I got a degree in?
Origami?
Yeah, and I've got a black belt in origami. I mean, a degree. Well, we don't always call things here degrees. We say we've got a certificate or some stuff like that.
Well, there are lots of things, like in Australia, particularly within the government circle, there is a point system.
Yeah,
And
that's-
you could do 36 points out of 44, that particular subject, and
Levels.
you're not qualified, but you keep those first 36 points forever. So all you need to do is finish the degree. It's similar in other countries. It's not always the same.
And levels, like when I worked for the council, because I was a librarian.
Yep, level
and
3, level 4, etc.
And a ranger.
Yeah.
I only got to a certain level because I didn't go and do the full,
I was a level 6.
I don't know what you call it.
Means nothing really. Beacon O'Donoghue. Oh, Beacon
Beacon.
O'Donoghue. I have a PhD in underwear.
No,
that
in
sounds good.
underwater paper bending. Will you read properly, not underwear?
Not wearing my glasses doesn't help. And here's the news. Underwear water people were bending. Funny.
Yeah, credits. Yeah, I've got
Credits, yeah, like a credit system.
I've got credits as a ranger and as a librarian. I am called a librarian, but I'm not a qualified librarian because I haven't done the full 4 years of uni. And the same with the ranger side of it. I have certain, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Danny. It's like someone talking about autism. I listen to people who have autistic children. They don't have to be a professional. Do you know what I mean? They have an understanding of the reality. And even though they may not be qualified in this area or that area, you certainly have a better understanding as a layman when you actually have the child you have to deal with, and behavioural issues that go with that. But for someone who has a degree in, say, psychiatry or psychology, and they purvey it on YouTube as, I've got a big stick, you shall not question me, should be struck off. They would be in this country, believe it or not. You can't go online and pretend to be a psychiatrist, even if you are, and then abuse people, because you'd lose. It'd go. They'd just disband you. You wouldn't be able to keep your tickets.
I thought you'd changed your name. I just realised. But I don't quite understand what that means, the last statement.
Oh, it's Bucky. Hey, Bucky.
Yeah, I thought I read the last bit and I realised, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember his underwear comment. Maybe that's where I got it from, Bucky. Even though I misread what you wrote. Yeah, you did have some sort of association with ladies' underwear at one stage. But I'd like, for me, I'm watching, and I like Tucker, don't get me wrong, but he's turning into his enemy. He's becoming what they do. But he's not alone. There are many people like that. And it's sad to see, because he's way better than that. I don't know whether the limelight's catching him or whether he's trying to be vindicative of what people have said about him. But he used to be based on his assumptions and talks about behaviour. And that seems to have gone out the window. But he can do what he likes. I'm just giving my opinion. Look, I mean, if the people like the Tin Can Man disappeared tomorrow, don't worry. Another one's going to pop up. Before you can even catch your breath. Tin Man Can has been destroyed. Here's a new one. That's what happens in life. There's a replication. It will come along. Yeah, I heard about that cast, but it's all beyond me. It's like this, what's that other one?
What one? What do you?
Discord, or something about Discord as well. I just can't be bothered. We don't spend a lot of time on here. But you don't have to. I can come back in 6 months and sit in on one channel for 5 minutes, and I can pick up the whole history of the previous 6 months, because people can't help talking about it.
And that's all right, because you sit down and in real life you watch things on the TV and you talk about it and you have your opinion. and then you just don't have people that are assholes. You wouldn't have them in your real life, so you avoid
No.
them on YouTube.
But how, this is something that I learnt a very long time ago, and it's very factual. How people type, or text in this case, is how they speak. You can't hide it. That's why it's so easy to pick someone who comes in other than Bucky. But the underwear, I picked up you on the underwear, Bucky. Bucky knows what I'm talking about. It boils down to that, because how you see people text over the years, they might come in with a different name, but it doesn't take you very long to figure out who it is. Oh, my eyes, and I'm too old for gaming.
No.
My grandkids kill me every time I say,
It's
play this with me,
no,
Granddad. Dead.
VMAC wrote, Discord is mainly for gaming, but it does have a mechanism to chat on when Messenger is gone.
What's Messenger?
You've got it on your YouTube.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't use it.
Well, you have.
I need to contact you. Never have we been so more electronically connected on the earth, yet so disassociated in real life.
Disconnected. Yeah, well, technology can be good.
And he went into, no one would have believed in the turn of the 20th century that man was being studied, Boyd was being studied by unscrupulous eyes. Dun, dun, dun. I had a couple of people, VMAC, that were in East Texas. And we're talking Bigfoot country. And that would have been, wow, it's a long time ago. 10 years ago, more, 10 years ago. And they would go out for big hunt explorations, studies, and triangulate different parts of the land and leave baits. And I thought it was quite fascinating. I thought it was quite futile, but fascinating the same.
Oh, I'll have to go look at that Bigfoot community. I just sometimes just like to go to different ones just to look.
I'd get in the Bigfoot community straight away. My feet are enormous. But it would be nice that if something good can come out of this nonsense, is that people decide just to use this tool to communicate and create friendships and things like, how's your garden growing, and oh, you got a new car, that's good, and your kids are off to college, fantastic. I enjoy that sort of conversation. Not I hate you and you hate me. I find that futility.
I think I've come across some of those channels, VMAC. There's one that's got a, this isn't a very good description, a wife and a kid, and does some really weird videos, and I'll have to find the channel name and give it to you one day, VMAC, because I won't describe it correctly.
Hello, Lake Shadow.
But it's really weird.
It's like I say, what I see unfolding is a lack of communication. And I see people's lives being shitty and bringing it on YouTube to make everyone else feel shitty. When in fact, if they could come on and talk to people normally, be themselves, you would have them ease of their tension. And I truly believe that. But for some reason they'll flick quickly over to the drama side, and then they're lost.
I don't know that one, VMAC. This is another one.
I'll add to that, Lake Shadow. What is said and what is heard are so different, because it's not what's said. It's the illusion. It's the alluding to, maybe they are a murderer, maybe they're not. They're alluding to someone's behaviour as being terrible, when in fact all it is, that person that's alluding all this nonsense doesn't like them. So they'll make stories up and cause havoc, when that's a terrible thing to do. It's like when people dox, or whatever they call it, when they say VMAC lives here, that's her address, and this is where she works. That's a horrendous thing to do. That shows the character of the person that does it is abhorrent.
Exactly. And even though, yes, people's information is out there because that's how the internet, blah, 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 that is no excuse to go and put people's info in a chat where there's hundreds of people watching.
Hello, Adam. Yeah, you're right, Leroy. It's a case of ring that bell as loud as you can and they'll come. Remember that movie? If you build it, they will come. It's true. Nonsense means views and money.
Oh, the flat Earth community, Leroy. Oh my goodness. Seeds had one. What were you doing? You did a live stream once, didn't you?
I was taking the piss out of flat Earth. I'll admit that.
Yeah, and a flat earther came into the chat. Remember?
Well, I've been up to about nearly 45,000 feet in an aeroplane. Due to the fact that there was a monster storm, they didn't really want to go that high. And the Earth has a curvature. And someone once said to me, that may be so, but it's probably just the damn dome you saw. Yeah, righto, mate. Okay. You know, the truth is, and this is a fact, people want to believe in something. So that could be religious, it could be the absurdity of a flat earth, it could be whatever it is, but they want to be part of something in their lives, they want to share something with others, but that's a natural human trait. But flat earth society? Pick another one, Johnny.
That's right, Danny G. And that's what I put in there earlier. It doesn't come from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, Chinese whispers, Danny.
Don't listen to the gossip of a jackass.
Well, VMAT made a very good point earlier, and I'd say the same to you, Danny. If someone said, oh, Danny G's being attacked by whoever, I am not going to go on their channel and defend you. I am not going to fight your battle for you, because when there's an argument, it's between two parties. When you have a third party, it blurs, and then you've got 12 involved, like what you just said. It gets diluted, and in fact, they forget about the original argument. And it's a full-on war about nonsense.
That's funny, Leroy. Took a carpenter's level.
That's a good belief, Adam. Humanity is what makes us or breaks us. Hello, Goliath. But yeah, you should never judge people. If my neighbour was, say, a flat earther, I just wouldn't invite him over for a barbecue, to be honest. But I wouldn't, take the piss out of him and call him silly names. I'd say, yeah, all right, just don't push it onto me, mate.
No, you can listen to them. But as long as they listen to your belief.
Yeah, but I've seen on several occasions, and I've known Leroy for a while, we'll get onto a panel, and Leroy, it's just like me, a very logical and lateral thinker, and he'll say A, B, C, D, and he forever gets treated, well, we know you're intelligent, Leroy, but your A, B, C, D is not quite right. It's A, C, D, B. And then Leroy will put his logic out and his lateral thinking out, saying, well, no, this is the fact. And he'll be dismissed. Then suddenly, from nowhere, will come the ostracisation. The basic, well, Leroy, maybe you didn't go to school long enough. The condensation will kick in. I've seen it many times.
To take a carpenter level.
Yeah, the shape of the Earth, as far as I can see, is spherical.
Oh, what's that movie? Where then he cuts through.
What are you talking about?
He was in a world that was repetitive.
Sure that wasn't a dream you had?
No. Tim Carey, is that his name? No.
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
I think the drugs are wearing off,
No,
and
I think it's probably because we haven't had a coffee for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Jim Carrey movie.
You mean Truman, like he was being watched all the time?
That's it.
Yeah, it's a bit like some characters on YouTube.
Yeah.
That was a good analogy. Yeah. Leroy, even a raindrop, strangely enough, is spherical. Round? No, it's actually not. It's an elongated, egg-shaped spherical object falling from the sky. But people will argue that that raindrop is in fact tears from heaven. And then you start on this big religious, oh, do you believe in God? And then you got a war. And then you get countries like Pakistan, 1948, half of them move north, half of them stay south. They change names.
Yes, BMAC. And you know what else? There's a lot of people didn't believe in, what's the name? Auschwitz and all that, so go figure.
We're a nasty species when you think about it. You think of just the lifetime that we've lived in. Forget about the long history. Think about the last 50, 60 years. There's been atrocity after atrocity. And that's humanity at its worst. And it seems to be getting worse, I'll be honest with you. There's not a lot of humanity left in humanity. That happens in, not tomorrow, the next day. So about 36 hours, Leroy. I will be putting up a video on my Saturday, your Friday. And you'll see the concrete pouring.
I can't wait for that. I like watching stuff like that and the machinery.
There's 40 square metres of concrete going in. So if you've got any dead Boit bodies you need to be put away, just bring them around.
Yes, VMAC is sweet. She's got a chocolate fountain. She's my friend.
But all of us, I mean, it's true. All of us would like to be part of something.
No basement. We don't really do basements, Bucky.
Well, we could put it under the alfresco area if we really wanted to.
Yeah, Australians don't they have...
Yeah, we don't do basements.
And attics is only about 40% of Australians have an attic. But we don't have basements really, do we?
We just have houses big enough to live in without having to be underneath or on top. A lot of two-storey homes in Australia. I don't like them. No, we do get frost, but it's a rarity where I live.
VMAC.
Yeah, no,
Actually,
you've got 36 hours, VMAC.
I'm sorry, but...
You can send them FedExpress if you like.
I mean, Europe and all that, and in Germany my grandparents had it, but basements and attics are always spooky to me. I mean...
Sex slaves are kept in basements, and young Jewish girls are kept in attics.
Yeah, don't joke about that, because that's happened, but yeah, there's always something... See, in America, you just have basements. Is that where your washing machine and your dryers
No,
go?
that's where all their fucking computers are kept. What are you doing? I'm in the basement on the damn computer. Shut up, pass me another bag of Cheetos. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit big, but I find myself more like a comfort ball than anything else.
It's just when you see American movies and they're always like going down those basements real careful with a torch, and it's always dark and dingy. It's like, are all basements like that in America? Are they all scary? Or are they livable?
I grew up with cold cellars, I know what Bucky's saying. My grandfather used to keep his coal, all his root vegetables in straw and soil in the basement. But that's a cold cellar. Or actually, when I was a kid, they used to call it a cold larder.
And so did my grandparents and my parents in Germany. They lived in a block of units for a while, and it was a shared cellar that everybody in the units shared.
But I mean, for the life of me, I don't know why there's so much anger and hatred and despondency, I suppose, on their behalf, the ones that attack, and the self-righteous indignation that these people show, followed by entitlement. It's like if Boit has 12 channels, if you say, all right, and you click on each channel, they're all the fucking same.
So that
Nonsense.
That sounds alright, Mac. I probably could go in that basement, but like, I know it's probably silly questions, but because we do it different here, we have an actual laundry room on the same level as the rest of the house for our washing machine and dryer. So
the room's about 10 foot by 7 foot
what my
the
laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's on the same level. It's no because it's no basement. And then in England, they have them in a cupboard in the kitchen usually. Well, the
Yeah.
old ways they used to.
Yeah. Each country has logistic reasons why you have an underground food cellar, or etc. Because of the climate.
So you've got like a laundry room then, B-Mac. Yeah, I've been in basements. I don't like going down them, but it's just the way TV perceives all basements in America. It's like, ooh, there's
Well,
something
we had a friend
scary
that
down
lived
there.
in Maryland, and he had a basement, but he always had trouble with moisture.
But he made his basement nice. He
But
decked it
the
all out.
point is, a lot of people in America that live in zones where there's an excess amount of water, or low groundwater, fairly high to the soil, have problems with their basements.
Yeah.
You know, mould, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, there's someone else I watch on YouTube, a young couple that bought a foreclosure house or something, and they're fixing it up, and they've got that problem in their basement. Yes, spooky.
I've never been scared of the dark. I don't know why.
Oh wait,
I
Chippendale.
can walk around. Doesn't bother me.
I'm going to VMAX.
Horror movies give basements a bad name.
Yeah, they do, Leroy, because that's what
Yeah,
I perceive.
yeah. He had a sump pump as well. But it's like pain in the ass.
VMAX got a Chippendale dancer tied in her basement.
The what?
A Chippendale dancer.
So what are you doing upstairs? She goes down the step by step. You can't leave your hat on. Please let me out of the damn chair, woman. I'm finished with you yet, big boy. Yeah. You know, it's pretty obvious if you have to have a sump pump, you shouldn't have dug down so deep. Just saying. I could build a cellar, a big one, if I wanted to, even now, but we have no need for one.
I mean, up the north of Australia, well, our state, there are some houses actually built into the hill or into a rock, like dugouts, because of the weather, because the cyclones up there and because of the heat. They're sort of built half in the hillside.
Well, Cooperpedy is a classic example.
Yeah,
They're all built underground.
But they still don't have a basement as such. They have a separate room that they build into the hill for their food. And
if you can, I think in North America in general, you have to go down, I think it's 8 feet in the worst area for frost lines. In Australia, you only have to go down a couple of feet. And if you built a room, either North America or in Australia, under those heights, the temperature would be year-round about 24 degrees, 22 degrees Celsius. Why? Because the Earth is a natural insulator, and that's the temperature of the Earth. And they're facts. I don't know why we haven't been building underground for a very long time. Makes a lot of sense.
yes, it's always the blonde that cops it, isn't it, VMAC, in movies? Blonde or a brunette?
Yeah, but the Earth is a great insulator. Maybe in the future many cities will be built underground. That probably will happen. I've got a friend that lives way up north in Canada, and his frost line is about 8 feet. But where Box live, it is extremely cold.
Yeah, well, he gets what, -40?
It's about, his latitude is something like 42 point something degrees north.
I just can't fathom that, to live in that. I suppose if you're born, bred, raised in that sort of thing.
Grows all his own food.
I mean, just to experience it, it'd be cool to do maybe a day.
Yeah. There's a few people that use geothermal here, and they'll go down before their slab is laid, and on the outside peripheral, they'll put all that piping in, and then they utilise that with a pump to keep their house at ambient temperature. In other words, about 24 degrees year round. Even in the middle of summer, we only turn our air conditioners to 24 or 25. You know, when it's 45 outside, 24 is pretty good.
Plus the other thing, I get a bit claustrophobic just the thought of going down into a cellar. And attics, what do they have? They're always full of spider webs and spiders. And this creepy doll sitting in the corner
And
on
Frank.
on an old chair. So,
But it's like in our house here now, before we do the extension, each room has its own air conditioner, reverse cycle. Which means that if we're in the lounge, we'll have, if it's hot, we'll have the air conditioner going. But it works out a lot cheaper. And people say, oh, but the expense of getting different air conditioners for different rooms. Yeah, but you don't use them as much.
okay, Danny.
All right, Danny, have a good day. Have a good day. You fine asshole lady. Oh dear. Flatuenta expectumum. But there will come a time after the Boit Holocaust. Don't use that word loosely. I mean, hopefully, a lot of them I got rid of. That maybe people will just turn to talking to each other, just like you would do if you had a coffee shop or at a bar or a tavern. Catch up, have a couple of quiet ones, enjoy each other's company, and then say, see you later.
You do, your conversations. We're having conversation now. It's not always doom and gloom conversation. It's a variety of subjects.
No, I suppose the subject we spoke of tonight is reaching a crescendo about the absurdity on channels. It's just, they're all same. One side saying they're good, the other side saying they're evil, when in fact you can blend them all together. It's a very, very fine line between pleasure and pain. Who sang that?
Yeah, go on, sing it.
I know who sang it.
I don't know.
There's a fine line between pleasure and pain. She passed away, unfortunately, had cancer.
Did she?
Mm.
What was her name?
I'll wait for people to answer.
I can't remember.
Yep. A lot of people do that. They go to a country and they go up and down one main street and said, oh, I love Canada.
Oh.
The people were wonderful. Where'd you go? Scarborough Road.
I was just saying tonight we were watching a history thing on England because we've been there, and I said there's still so much of England that we want to see. That we'd need to live there for a year, I reckon, to see it all.
Well, I'd just buy a car. Travel around like that. They drive on the left-hand side of the road in England. They know what to do.
Oh, thanks, Adam. You're on my Christmas card list.
I think we all discern between what channels you go to and enjoy anyway, but I'm sure all of you would understand what I'm saying, that they've all become much the same. There's very little difference between what used to be seen as good or evil. It's just melded, which is sad. Look, everyone knows I do not like people begging for money. I always think that if you're capable of working, and if you have a YouTube channel, good, you earn a few extra dollars through AdSense. But to simply not work and ask people for money to support your lifestyle, I don't approve. Yeah, so did I, Bucky. I just saw, what the hell am I doing trying to sit in text and prevail some logic,
Speak rationally.
and then realise that they don't care.
It's falling like deaf ears.
So I just turned my back on them. I agree wholeheartedly. Super chat. I don't know whether people just like to see the colour bar come up with $20 or $10 or whatever it is, but a lot of people that do have those are obnoxious arseholes. I couldn't say that any nicer, actually. Obnoxious arseholes. Because some used to be witty and humorous and funny have realised that that doesn't make them any money.
That's true, VMAC, when people don't engage with the side chat, because that's what makes the channel, is the side chatters.
I've often seen people use the word, oh, well, he or she's not answering me, we'll just have a country club side chat. You're better off opening a channel and doing a hangout and doing what we're doing now, watching for what you're saying, interacting with what your questions are or your thoughts on things, than just ignoring them.
But that's the whole idea of a hangout, isn't it? That you engage through talking as well as through the side chat.
But most of these channels don't want to engage the side chat, they just want them to pay them.
Well, sometimes
Give me money.
They do engage it when they want to, when it's a comment they don't like. Or
Yes, that's right. It's like if you were given 12 hours to live, you wouldn't come on YouTube.
Oh, I love some of those cat videos, Bucky. I watch those. Some of the weird
What's
things
that thing you watch on yours that I keep forgetting what you call it? Is it on Facebook or whatever, the daily things that you get?
Oh, that's on Facebook. I've been trying to find it on YouTube. It's called Daily Satisfaction Videos. And I know it sounds silly, but it's things like you watch somebody do pottery and that wheel spinning and then they're cutting it and things like that.
I remember that video, VMAC, the nappy wearing, being serious. What a pitiful existence he lives. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. To go through life not knowing what's happening, what's going on, be ignorant of social interaction on any level, inappropriate all the time, unhygienic, ill health. I mean, I'll be honest, I am 60. He looks about 55.
No, he does.
It's terrible. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. And all people do is use him for content. Humorous.
Oh, yes. I remember. I
or
did see that
vitriol,
one.
whatever. They just use him.
When the bird pooped on him. Do you remember that one? Yes. There are times that's been funny videos. You're right, VMAC.
Where did it come from? What was that? That was the God I was sure shitting on you. Yeah, he is homeless. He doesn't have a toilet or a shower. He has a cargo van. And he defecates in a plastic bag, and God knows where he puts it. No, I know what you mean, Larry. No, I stop after a while.
Yes, Leroy, I have done things like that. I've gone watching one and then because all these other videos come up that recommend for you and I'm thinking, oh, I might want to watch that one. So
I had, perchance, yesterday, I'd watched a video and then the next video that came up was Melton John. And I could see this bedhead and this real weird look on his face. So I went in for 30 seconds and I thought, he is a child prodigy of Boit. Someone has given birth to this character and 30 seconds was enough.
Actually, VMAC, I say he's 159.
Well, I made it to 60. Know what I'm saying? Well, there is a difference between Rosie and Zia. One of them likes Dick, and the other likes Fanny. I'll leave that to you to work out.
Yeah,
Hello, Scarlett.
I've come across those, VMAC, too. Some of the weird recommendations that come up, though, I have no idea what it's got to do with what I've been watching. Like, I was watching a funny cat video when I actually had a video recommended to me about a building company in Australia who we are now using. It was just, I just can't believe how this building company video came across my screen recommended for me when I'm watching a funny cat video.
Or don't you find it a bit suspicious because of how the internet works? You'll Google king-size bed, and you have a look, and you're done. And for the next 6 weeks, all you get in your email is,
Yes.
"Hi, my name's Jake from Big Beds. I have the bed for you." You think, these bastards just keep selling my information. $60 rubber bats.
Now that'd be cool. Oh, I can't wait for Halloween. I have to find my witch.
Yeah, we enjoy Halloween. Kids come around, get bags of lollies. It's not huge here
No,
in Australia, but we'll get 30 kids come past. Some won't break our windows. Or take the hubcaps.
No, they don't. Or they don't throw rotten eggs or up your house in toilet paper.
Bit expensive to do that these days.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any of those, Adam.
That's the same as your TV, your smart TV, Adam. They're telling you to be careful how you program your TV.
Alexa,
No, I
Alexa, yes, Mr. Seeds. Show me your tits. You're very forward, Mr. Seeds. Look, I mean, I'll be honest with you, some really lonely people probably buy those to have a chat with someone.
Oh, Scarlett, really? Well, I suppose because of where you live, Scarlett, that would happen, wouldn't it? But we love. I even make, like, out of biscuits. I make fake fingers and put almonds on as fingernails and red food colouring around the fingernails and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they don't read your mind, but let's be honest, you go to the shop and you use your debit card to buy some food, maybe get a couple of bottles of wine, pick up some bread. All of a sudden, all those emails come to you about, want to buy some liquor.
Yeah, they're cool, aren't they, Scarlett?
Finger cookies, what are they?
Yeah, like I make out of biscuit.
Oh, the ones you showed me at
Yeah.
Halloween. Yeah, we've seen some beauties.
Yeah, I made them one, you remember? And I put the almonds on the fingernails and there's some cool videos out there of what people do for Halloween.
We had one kid last year. He come around, like about 6 kids, and they were brilliantly dressed, came in. And there was a kid just with shorts, slippers on his feet. Nothing. I said, "What have you come as?" He said, "Oh, I've just come with my friends." I said, "All right, see ya." He said, "Do I get a bag of lollies?" I said, "You're not dressed up." I gave him a bag. He said, "Next year you come here, if you're not dressed up, you get nothing."
you will still give him a bag.
We gave him a bag, but it's good fun.
That to have Halloween in America and go to Salem, but it's
Too
just
damn cold.
well. Plus, couldn't do it this year anyway. But we'll probably come to America in May next year, but I can still go to Salem. I'll just make you all have Halloween early because I'm coming.
I think the funniest one we had last year was the lady pulled up with a kid, got out, and she stood on the lawn about 20 feet, and she's saying, this tiny little kid, "Go on, go over there." He's like, "I don't want to go over there.
Yeah, but like I always,
I don't want to go over there."
it's like I always say, we teach our kids about stranger danger all year, but one day a year
Yeah,
or
she's
two.
telling little Johnny, "Now don't go with any strangers," and then she put him on line. So go and see that strange bloke over there.
But one day a year, we let our kids take lollies from strangers, and at Christmas sit on an old guy's lap.
Our kids enjoy it. It's not like Christmas, but they walk around the street and people give them candy.
Well, here in Australia, what they do, for numerous reasons, because of safety and whatever, each little suburb has a website that gets put up around close to Halloween by the council or local whatever, where you can register your house saying, yes, Halloween, and you put a balloon on your letterbox to say, yes, they can come in, that you're doing Halloween, because there are people who don't like it and get angry
that's
if
true.
someone comes and knocks on the
Yeah.
door.
Well, we could delay our trip to the US till, say, late September, do most of Canada, then come back and see family in Pennsylvania, and then go back to do Halloween in October. It will be cold,
Yeah.
but not unbearable. Scarlett, what's the temperature like in your area around Halloween? Because you're not too far away from Massachusetts.
Yeah, I agree, VMAC, but it doesn't work. They do the opposite. There's a site that you put your address on a map, and then people follow that map to what houses.
Oh, that sounds okay. 72. We could do that. We could go late September, go through Canada, come back down, see family in PA, and then head back to Boston. That's an option. That
Yeah.
gives you Halloween. But what I'm saying is that's near the end of our days before we come home,
Yeah.
because it gets too damn cold otherwise.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, well, I go and get my battery back.
And it just looked like I always wore the same clothes because I always wore what I'd brought with me that was warm. I didn't bring enough warm clothes with me. I mean, you start at the beginning of October to put all your decorations set out for Halloween, don't you? In Australia, they don't really do it till probably a week before, at a push 2 weeks before Halloween. Where,
Turn the light on.
no, oh,
Blinding, isn't it?
whoa, there's a bit of a delay
What's that?
when you turn the light on.
Oh, did it just come on, did it?
Yeah.
It's funny. I think that's working. We'll find out shortly. Yeah, so if we do that, if we arrive, say, in New York in late September, and then maybe we can catch up with Anissa and PA in first, and maybe Herbie,
Yeah.
and then shoot off. We want to see mainly the east coast of Canada is what we're looking for, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
I know the west would be fantastic, but it's a long trip to include after we've already, come round from the other side of the world.
No, they haven't got the Christmas decorations out yet. They've got the Christmas cakes and everything out.
They've got hot cross
Early.
buns.
But hot cross buns are going to be served all year from now because people keep asking for them. But yeah, Christmas decorations and Halloween stuff sort of comes out nearly at the same time, doesn't it?
I'm not really sure where exactly we're going. And it,
Probably would have to live there for 12 months to go see everything.
probably try and catch up with some people, but it'd be like what we would do is say we were in Quebec, and if someone says, "Oh, we're only 3 or 4 hours away from here," well, I'm not going to drive a car. Not that I can't drive. So it'll have to be like close by to where someone is. And no, I'm not buying you a fucking steak.
Yeah, I saw that, Leroy, because our niece lives in America.
Buy you beer.
And she, we've got a Costco in Australia now, but she went into the Costco store and she videoed all the, like she did last year, all the Halloween things and then the Christmas stuff right next to it.
I don't really like big stores like that, I'll be honest.
I do.
Yeah, no, she does. And so does her sister. IKEA nuts.
I know, not IKEA. No.
How was a company allowed to develop like IKEA with everything they sell? After you put the components in and on and made it, there's a handful of nuts and bolts left over. What's the go there? I mean,
They're
seriously.
spares.
So we could say confidently, if you're happy to do that, we'll do that. We'll go September and then finish off with Halloween in Boston. Well, not actually Boston, but we could meet people in specific cities Look, I mean, the truth of the matter is that if 3 or 4 people in Canada want to catch up with us, they might actually meet not only us but the other people they would like to meet up with as well. That's something that could happen. We're not going to do a sort of trip. We go to Quebec. We want a few days in Quebec. There's a few cities I want to see in Canada. Maybe take a train trip. That'll be interesting.
Yep.
But we'll just play it by ear, and if things unfold where we can catch up, great. Hello, Wolf Dad.
Hey, Wolf.
Have a good one. But no, there'll be no seeds. What do they call these houses that they're going to get together and stream houses?
Damn.
That's not going to happen.
We're not doing that.
I'll quickly check, if you like. It says
I think you let your phone go down too far.
what I might
No, it's back.
do, VMAC, is actually pull out a map of Canada and see the logic areas that work.
In America, so we can see how we're going to do it.
Not interested in the west coast of America at all.
What's on the west coast?
LA, right up to Seattle, down to the border to Mexico. So, I mean, how much beach and water can we see here? And I don't really like big cities, although we will go spend a couple of days in New York.
Yeah,
I could not go there and be happy, to be honest.
Go where?
Yeah, I think the truth is that a lot of people won't want to meet us, not for any other reason than they want to keep their anonymity. That's fine. I don't like the idea that people are being pressured to meet each other, because that it should just happen naturally.
It happens, it happens.
Yeah, it should just unfold. Not, oh, I'll definitely meet you there, and then not show up because you're a bit, frightened. I've got family actually in Canada, but in farming land, so not in the big cities. But it's like
No, we'll be doing
I've seen enough of Quebec. I've got a very good friend in Canada who says you have to see Quebec because he knows we love history and we like architecture. So that's a definite. We're definitely going to Quebec. But I think we'll do a couple of train trips.
Yeah.
Train service looks pretty good over there.
Adam says New York City's too expensive, bring your bunch money. No, I'll just make seeds go do busking, Adam.
How much money do you reckon we'll make out of that? Are you lonesome? Singing Aussie songs, you reckon I'd do well over there?
Yeah. And Scarlett,
There you go, mate. I'm a bit short of a few dollars. Any chance of giving a good Aussie bloke a bit of a hand?
and Scarlett said she'd meet us on her turf. That's fair enough.
You own a race course? We are the most unlikeliest of tourists. We don't like going on scheduled tourist things. We like just to wander, to be honest.
VMAX says, do you mean Quebec or Quebec City? Well,
Quebec City, sorry, no, she's quite incorrect to me. It's Quebec City I definitely want to see. Just for the architecture and history alone, to be honest. Oh, you'd fit well in Australia, Scarlett. We've got plenty of dirt and roads that are full of dirt. It's not like, it's like I do not like having people force themselves on us, and I don't want to be seen forcing ourselves on them. If we happen to be somewhere and someone is near and says, look, there's a pub over here, I can catch up with you about 3 o'clock, that will happen. But there's certainly no leverage coming from our side. Never will. Oh, I like home-cooked dinners, as you probably gather, Scarlett.
She'll make you go kill the chook.
I'd have no problem killing a chook.
I would now. I couldn't do it anymore. I used to help my mum, but I wouldn't do it anymore.
It's all good food. If you're killing it yourself, you know how it grew.
I'll pick the veggies and peel them.
But what happens when the carrots scream as they're coming out of the ground? Did you feel any solace for them? All things are living.
Oh, shut up.
You murderer. VMAC's a vegetarian murderer. We all know this. You don't want to be a bean living where VMAC lives.
VMAC, just time him out. Oh, you can't. You're the channel owner.
I bought some fillet steak, beautiful steak. Took it round to my son-in-law's, and he was a bit late coming home. But he barbecued the meat. And you know, fillet's about 2 inches thick by about 3 or 4 inches round. Well, he brought it back in, it was about 9 inches long, about ½ inch thick. He just squeezed the shit out of it. And I thought, I'm not going to say anything. I do know now he can't cook steak.
Ottawa.
Ottawa, yeah, that sounds a good...
Is that in our plans?
Could be.
Larry asked. Where's Ottawa?
That's a city in Canada.
Oh, in Canada, is it?
Yeah. It's where all the otters live.
Yeah, see, VMAC's giving it back to you now.
VMAC, you produce twice the amount of methane than I do because of your consumption of vegetables.
Hey, High Country.
You are destroying the ozone layer in Canada. I'm just mentioning it. Hello, High Country. Hope you're feeling better, mate.
Yeah, how's your leg?
I know, it's the capital. We've got a crazy capital in Australia. It's called Canberra. Middle of bloody nowhere. Mind you, it's a good place to put politicians in the middle of nowhere. I rarely have more than 1 or 2 drinks, I'll be honest with you. And I've been like that my whole life. I enjoy a wine, I enjoy a beer, but no. If you sat at a meal that we went out and you'd see me have a drink, a bottle of water, and then maybe another drink, maybe not.
What did you say for VMAC to say? How do you figure that?
How do you figure that? I don't know what. I think maybe she's talking to someone else. Oh, I like changing of the guard. All over the world, we've seen that. Well, trust me, I'm not frightened to come to Canada. Let's be honest. A lot of you Canadians are a little bit worried about our wildlife, shall I say? Yeah, no, I wouldn't drink 6 beers now. When I was younger, I may, but no. I enjoy good food, good conversation, and I don't want to have a headache in the morning. Still got the stocking. Sounds good, mate. Do you think about getting those insoles, you know, the gel things for your feet? You quit driving.
Drinking. God, he said he...
Underwear?
Bucky said he quit drinking when his youngest was a baby and she's now a teenager.
Yeah. No, I do enjoy a nice wine. Not often, but I do. And definitely like dark beer or Guinness. And they sell Guinness in Canada. I've already checked. But we do like to discover the foods. We'll deliberately find a pub or a tavern on a corner and watch how people go about their day, because you learn a lot by just looking. On the east coast, all right, yeah. I'll go back on this chat and then I'll look them up.
That's like I used to watch
I was thinking it must be October 1st. I don't think they're calling it.
Oh yeah, I do that. I do that,
I
Scarlett.
know the feeling about open fishing season. Yep, I do like trying artisan beers and bread. We love people that make bread in even those little small shops, but you can find some nice little treats there.
And that show I used to watch, Northern Exposure, I'd like to go where that was filmed.
So I have no fear of bears at all. They don't. Most animals like that, they don't want anything to do with you. They want to run away from you.
I have no fear as long as I'm in the car with the windows up. Would you walk down the street?
I'd cover myself in honey, cover myself in honey naked, and walk up the street of Brearbound Avenue.
Oh, hey, Buttercup. Oh my God, where was that guy? He owned a home zoo, and then they tried to close him down.
And the tigers ate him or something.
And he deliberately stripped down. They found him with his pants around his ankles and his shirt lifted up.
Right?
And he shot himself. Like, he let all the animals out and then went and shot himself. And then when they found him, the tigers had been eating him.
Yeah, lunch. Every part of the world, unfortunately now, is fairly populated. But in country areas, like in my country and your country, you still get to see the wildlife. Yep, if you get to the high country, you'll enjoy that.
Oh, God, VMAC.
Nah, Scarlett, I wouldn't be frightened of bears, to be honest with you. Unless it's a grizzly. I have a great deal of respect for a very large animal. But little brown bears, black bears,
Well,
I don't think they'd bother me. I think if you clap your hands loud enough, they'd bolt.
You'll do some good videos, high country, when you can go back out fishing.
I've always been fascinated with nature. Like, I used to do a lot of diving, and I would dive with sharks. But they're unbelievable. They're beautiful.
Was Alaska.
They do eat you on occasions, but it's just, if you've ever been diving and you're underwater and you see the coral and the fish, you see a few sharks and moray eels, it's just another world. It's unbelievable. And your sense of hearing, even though you're in water, it's high. You can hear everything underwater.
Oh, that's right, Alaska. Oh, we'll have to make Alaska another trip. Northern Exposure was filmed in Alaska.
Well, I've always treated wildlife with respect, VMAX, so what I wouldn't do is be foolish. But, like I say, I wouldn't have any fear of them. I mean, have you seen my country's animals? You think a little black bear's going to bother me? I don't think so.
I say I've got different seasons high.
Mm-hmm.
So the river, as the lakes don't open till first weekend of November. Oh.
Yeah, they'll generally allow for a breeding season. That's what most of the closures are for. Or to keep people safe.
Well, Susan, if you want to see sharks, come to Australia.
Yeah, we'll show you a few sharks. Do you camp out overnight, high country? Imagine if you're going a fair way up, it'd be worth staying a night or two. But there's nothing, I mean, as you can see, we spend a lot of time outside. We'll do the same on the alfresco area when that's finished. I just like being outside, feed the birds. I love it. How many people, Scarlett, die from bear attacks where you live? Because something or other's killing people in Australia every day. You name it, it bites you here.
No, there's no way I would let him go walk around somewhere where there's black bear could be around the corner, or
I wouldn't worry about little black bears.
Or
I his mama's not around.
cougar or whatever other wild cats you have.
It just makes sense, Leroy.
Oh, yeah, I'd agree with that too.
We probably use 2 or 3 people to sharks. Actually, water buffalo kill people in this country as well. Obviously, the snakes, spiders, you name it.
I see.
We've got something that can kill you.
VMAC, don't let work get in your way. Come on.
She's down in the cellar banging away on the old computer, making money, which is a good thing.
Yes, I wouldn't walk around somewhere.
No, I just wouldn't. I don't disrespect nature at all. It's like if you were out walking, like if high country was up in the hills and all of a sudden he could see the weather coming in. He's not going to be a hero dog biscuit. He's going to take cover and see the crap go over him and finish off and then come good and then get up and do it. You don't fight the elements or animals.
No. Yeah, and then cook your breakfast when you catch your fish. Do your high in the morning, get a fish for breakfast, or you take other stuff when you camp as well. Because I know people have gone camping and they only have what they catch. They don't take anything
Well, that's
with
what
them.
I used to do, but we were always guaranteed of a feed.
My God, see, if we go to Scarlett's, we ain't leaving her house. Or I'll be walking around, you'll have to teach
What's
me.
Scarlett saying? She's a cougar? Is that what she's saying?
She's saying they have them.
Arr, arr. So I think I asked this question a while ago, but if you worked in Canada, not for yourself, but for somebody else, do you get 2 or 4 weeks holidays a year? What is it in Canada? I know in the US it can be as low as just 2 weeks.
Well, VMAC's gone back to work.
Oh, you're back working for someone now, VMAC. Oh, she's gone
No,
now.
she's gone to her office, yeah.
Well, that's in the basement.
Yeah, I know, but that means she's turned off the chat. She's doing something.
I always like my men older. So you're a kitty cat, not a cougar. Yeah. You can never go wrong taking something like sausages or patties as we call them. The stomach to fill the belly, bit of bread, doesn't hurt. You can take all that stuff with you, right? If you don't use it, you just take it home. Pretty simple. We would always take potatoes and bread, salt and pepper, flour and eggs when we went fishing. That's about it, because we'd catch them on top of the water or we'd dive for them. We'd always get a feed. Wow, 1 week. So you wouldn't, anywhere in Australia, you get at least 4 weeks.
Yeah, but you have to have been with the company for at least 12 months before you can take that 4 weeks.
Oh yeah, you've got to
holiday.
work 12 months,
Yeah.
then you get 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Where I used to work in a prison, I'd get up to 12 weeks. Yeah, I just think it's a bit harsh only having a week or two. Can't do much, go far, can't go overseas. Yeah, looking forward to them, I imagine you're going to have some spectacular video. And just a suggestion, your shooting of the fish is fantastic.
Yes.
And if you do light a little fire, show a video of that. And if you're going to cook something on the fire, show that as well.
I just don't want to see fish
That'd be
guts.
cool.
But I don't want to see fish guts though, so warn me
Oh,
if you're
stop.
showing that. Tell me where not to look in the video then.
It's a 2-second job to get rid of a trout's fish gut. Trust me, it's nothing.
Susan, are you saying 4 weeks as in you just don't get that much, or you can't believe we get 4 weeks?
It's the minimum here, 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah. And school teachers get all the school holidays,
They get
obviously,
12 weeks.
but they also get extra.
Yep. On average, a school teacher in Australia, on average, works 3 days a week. That's including the holidays taken out. And every 1 day a week there's a teachers' meeting. So the kids...
No, not 1 day a week.
Yeah, Tuesdays. Yeah,
Oh, their school finishes early on a Wednesday.
yeah, so they can have meetings.
Yeah, 4
It's
weeks,
a minimum.
Susan.
It's a minimum, 4 or 5.
Once you work for somebody and been there 12 months, every 12 months you can have 4 weeks, and depending on your boss, isn't it? You
Yeah.
can take some holiday after 6 months.
In a lot of mining jobs here, you work 4 weeks and have 2 weeks off, paid. So basically you get about 3 months holiday a year paid. Jess is just about to go on maternity. She can have 2 years maternity here.
Yeah, it's 1 year full, 2 years half pay.
Or, if she wanted to continue working, her husband could take paternity leave. Same amount of time. I mean, in fact, Harry did that for about 18 months, didn't he?
6 months.
6 months. Mount Washington. Nah, I'm not going to Mount Washington. I know all about Mount Washington, how you get blown away. Scarlett, don't be mean.
What do you mean?
That's where they have a weather station in Mount Washington and the highest recorded wind speeds in the world.
Okay.
She's trying to blow me away. You're allowed in Australia 12 days sick leave a year, paid. You get a minimum of 4 or 5 weeks annual leave. You can take bereavement leave.
That's a week.
Yep, it's a week a year. You can take
Special.
spousal leave. Otherwise, if there's something happened to your wife,
Yeah.
you don't have to be sick.
Sometimes they call it special leave.
Yeah, so
A week.
it works out. When I worked it out on a normal job, it's about 12 weeks of the year that you could have off and be paid under circumstances. Bretton Woods, okay. I know Mount Washington is very beautiful. Ah, that's very sweet. Brings you a little rock from the top. That means every time he climbs up there, Scarlett, it's getting shorter. Environmental terrorist, let's be honest. And you're an accomplice to the fact. Just kidding.
So you're allowed to do that. You know, there's a lot of places in Australia that you go to certain mountains, hills, whatever. You are not allowed to remove the rocks.
Ah, Aboriginal culture.
Yeah, Aboriginal law.
Well, I think we may have bored you enough. And it's, what's the time?
10:15.
10:15. Old people up that late? Probably going to get arrested. Have a good day wherever you are. Enjoy it. Stay away from the nonsense if you can. And from the cute one, if you can see her.
No, it's too dark.
She said nothing at all, but that's okay.
I was typing in here, giving a kiss.
Oh yeah, I don't know exactly, but I think it was close to 200 mile an hour, Scarlett. And I'm a big bloke and I'm fairly strong, but I ain't gonna be able to survive up there. Have a good day wherever you are. Be kind to the good people you meet. Crush those that are in your way. And if you have to ignore people on YouTube, just do it. You'll thank me later.
Like I said, if it ain't from the horse's mouth, don't listen to the gossip of a jackass.
Well, the bottom line, if it ain't from the horse's mouth, it's probably from the horse's ass. Good night.